Right then, time for a quick Q&A. Cheers to everyone that's come and answered the questions or asked the questions even over on Instagram. Mr. Stephen Howson on Instagram if you don't already follow. I'm going to answer a handful of these and maybe we'll do another one next week because there's been absolutely millions of questions and we can't answer all of them. Who is United's biggest ever overperformer that exceeded potential? Probably a fella called Cristiano Ronaldo. You might have heard of him. I think he had the potential to be very good, but certainly not the best in the world when we signed him. Paul says, do you think we should give Diallo a go on the right wing, or is it too soon? I'd say give him 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes this week maybe, I think would be pretty good. He's definitely worth it. What website do I use for stats? I use one called StatZone. It's not a website. Or we use Understat, which is usually for the expected goals and stuff. Favorite obscure United player? Ronnie Johnson, potentially. Or, do you know what? Yap Stam might be pretty obscure, considering that he never gets into the conversation with Rio and Vidic. But, you know, Yap Stam. The greatest asset I have as a manager? I think you probably have to ask the lads. I would say I know what I want. I think I can communicate what I want quite well. So I guess it's that. Any rum that I'd recommend? Yes, Diplomatico. It's top. Would I risk the circus around Haaland's agent if it meant having him play for us? Yep, I think I would go and dance with the devil on that one. Do I enjoy this or does it have frustrating moments? Yes, it does have frustrating moments. Is Marshall done at United? So that's a very interesting one. I don't think you can answer this very quickly. I think he's 7 years into his career. Now is he 24, 25? He really should be playing at his peak. When you look at the top class strikers around the world, they've come through that 21, 22-year-old sort of phase where they can have inconsistent performances. Now they're consistently performing. If he'd have kicked on this season, I think you could have really made a case for Marshall to be one of the top class strikers in the world. But I don't think he's going to get there. I think he can probably be a success for someone, but I'm not sure it's going to be for United, unfortunately. What is the long-term goal for Stretford Paddock? Well, I've had a few questions more or less on this, whether it's for the football team or the channel. So I'm assuming this is the football team. The long-term goal's fluid, to be honest, because we started a team. We didn't really even have a team before the pandemic and lockdown started to affect us. So the fact that we managed to even play football at all this season was massive. And the goal for this season is to finish the season. That I'll be delighted with. And if we don't finish the season, it won't be because we weren't capable of finishing the season. I think there's going to be the obvious. There's a chance our league gets null and voided, which I'll be very disappointed if it does. I'm trying to make sure we've got every opportunity to try and get out there and play and make sure that we're available and make sure that we're doing everything that we can to make sure that if we're given the opportunity, we can get out there and play. So that's obviously a short-term thing. Longer term, I mean, where'd you go from, moving up through the leagues, establishing ourselves, maybe finding our own little home, whether that's a ground share or eventually finding our own gaff, something like that. But it starts getting wild. I'd love to build an academy. I'd love to pad out the reserves, women's team, junior teams, everything. I see gaps in where I think we can do things better, or there's room for things that are currently happening as a larger scale that can be done better. I'm very chuffed with what we've done. But yeah, I think we can improve it and watch this space, I would say, because things are going on in the background and we'll see what happens. Do I think Solskjaer is the man to win us 21? I think he has to be backed. But out of the ones that we've had post Fergie, I think he's the closest to it. Top 5 books that have influenced me the most. An out there one, probably The Rum Diaries by Hunter S. Thompson. And I didn't like Rum when I read it. And I didn't really like Rum for a long time after I read it, actually, as well. The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins. and then probably a couple of football books, which I've mentioned loads and loads of times. Paul McGrath's autobiography is sensational. I probably should think about more about the non-football books, which I've really enjoyed. Yeah, because I read a lot of diverse books. I like a lot of history type stuff. If every team had got a proper pre-season, what would the difference been in our season? It might have been worse, actually. If we might have benefited slightly from the chaos, but I just think longer term it's going to harm us. Except Cantona, who is my favourite all-time player at United? Beckham. Do I think we're 1 or 2 transfers away from the league, or much more is needed? I think realistically much more. Where do I think United will finish this season? Top 3, second probably. Hopefully. I don't think we're going to get there. How many divisions below League 2 are Stretford Paddock? Yeah, so there was loads of these sorts of questions. Basically, Stretford Paddock doesn't realistically have a level. If you want to call it level 15, which I've seen some non-league sites call level 15, the truth is step 6, which is level 10, which is Northwest Counties, got disconnected from all of the feeder leagues below it. Technically, Manchester League should be level 11, 12, 13, and then 14 and 15 is the league that we're in. But they disconnected those leagues this summer. So technically we're level 15, but in Northwest Counties' eyes, we're also level 11. So it's a little bit smoke and mirrors. I think the better teams are still in the Manchester League. I think that's still the progression, and it's certainly what we're kind of looking at. Is we'd like to get promoted this season, hopefully get promoted from the Prem, and then hopefully work our way through the Manchester League and then see where it takes us, hopefully to the semi-pro ranks. If we get to Northwest Counties, which is the aim, that would be 5 promotions off League 2, which is basically where Salford was when the Class of 92 took them over. So it's doable, but probably unlikely unless we get millions of pounds of investment, tens of millions of pounds of investment, which means it's not happening. Did anything special happen in 91? If not, could I ask Jay? I don't know of anything that happened in 91. Probably nothing. Thoughts on Arsenal signing Odegaard? Not a position I thought they were needed, but you can always use strength, so we'll see how it goes for him. I think he's a good player. I just think he needs better decision making. Not necessarily on the pitch. I think he's pretty good on the pitch. Off the pitch, I think it's been quite weak. Just started my own podcast. Any tips on software to use for edits and stuff? Premiere Pro is what we use for everything virtually. How did I get into YouTube? I was writing a blog, and Full-Time Devils kept asking me to share stuff, and then they asked me if I wanted to come on. And I eventually did. Today's video is sponsored by the good folks over at NordVPN. You will be able to get 70% off NordVPN, only £2.63 per month, plus you get an additional month free at nordvpn.com/Howson, or you can use the coupon Howson. I will stick the link in the description for you. With VPN, when traveling, football fans can keep using an IP address in their home country. If you've left the UK on business, on holiday, it doesn't mean you can't watch United playing back home on a legal stream. To get around local internet restrictions, just connect yourself to a UK server. Also, no one wants the buffering when you're watching a game, so for great entertainment, you need good internet speeds, and NordVPN offers football fans the fastest VPN experience on the market. With this offer, NordVPN can offer 24/7 customer support, a 30-day money-back guarantee, super fast servers, 5,500 in 60 countries, protects your data while you're using public Wi-Fi. There's no data login, which means no personal information will be stored. Use the code Howson for 70% off NordVPN at only £2.63 a month, plus you get an additional month free at nordvpn.com/Howson. Link is in the description. Do I still think we're getting Sancho after Diallo impressing? I'll be surprised, to be honest. I think the money that he wants is a bit crazy. Unless we can get him cheaper, then I'm not sure. I'm not sure it would happen. Which post-Fergie season is the most enjoyable for you as a fan? Not this one, because we're not there. And I think we've got to really be there to properly enjoy it. Do I think Marshall will leave this summer? I can see him being used to fund Sancho. Yeah, I do. Which non-first team player am I most excited for in the next few years? Mengi, but I think it's going to take a few years. When is Ben coming back to the channel? Ben's in here all the time. He's in here every Wednesday at the moment. He's not doing anything on camera. Who do I think is the most talented kid coming out of the academy now? Yeah, probably Mengi. United versus Paddock, who am I supporting? I mean, it'd obviously be United, wouldn't it? The thing is, it's not going to happen. It's such a hypothetical. It's not going to happen. How did I get to the position I'm in today in terms of having links to players and some inside knowledge? It's because I'm there. Especially going watching academy games. You've got to be real. And you've got to be honest. And I might be a few things in my life, but I'm real and I'm honest. And I'm there. And it's a very small community that watches it's even smaller now because the restrictions that are in place, and I'm not talking COVID, these restrictions have come in over the last couple of years, making it very difficult. But it's such a small community that goes and watches United. It's such a small community that goes and watches those academy games. And quite often the people in the stands are the players themselves or their parents or their agents. And you just get talking to them. Just like a normal conversation. You're not necessarily looking for anything out of it. You're not asking for anything out of it. And you just build up relationships. Everything is relationships. And if they trust you and if they like you, people tell you stuff. And that's the top and bottom of it, really. My first United shirt, it was on... I posted it on my Instagram if you want to go and look, a while back. It was the 1989 away shirt. That's the first one I can remember. I think I had one as a toddler, but I don't remember that. What would I say my general football ideas are as a coach? Keep the ball on the floor, attack quickly. I like to use overlaps. I like to use 2v1s. I like to create overlaps and 2v1s because that's the easiest way to do it. You create an extra man somewhere. There's always a way through movement and work and running. There's ways to create space, and that's how you do it. You find an overlap somewhere, and then you exploit that overlap. Will we ever sign Saul Niguez? Doubt it. Would I rather Paddock get promoted or United win the league? United win the league. I'm on the piss with Lou Van Gaal, but I have to interview him. What am I asking him about? I'd start talking to him about his influences as a coach and when he was coming through Barcelona and then what he did in Holland. He's had such a diverse sort of grounding as a coach. And obviously, he's coached everywhere. Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Ajax, Manchester United. Fucking what? Would I ever do a documentary or podcast about my time in the army? No. Was 2020 actually the worst year? Fucking shit, wasn't it? Advice to aspiring football YouTubers: just start. Any famous guests coming on Howson's Brew soon? I think Brian McClare's coming on soon, but I don't know what date. Any tips or advice for someone who's hoping to take their first step into coaching? Go do it. Don't get your badges first, just go do it. You can help out somewhere. And people are generally needing a hand, so someone will take you on. My ideal formation for Paddock is what we play, 4-3-3. Honest opinion on Ollie's management so far. I think he's been largely good. I think he changed the atmosphere. And I think a manager's job is to manage the atmosphere and the personalities of the players and get the best out of those players. I think there is tactics and there is development of people in terms of their abilities. But I think that's more on the player than a lot of people really want to... The development side is more on the player than people really want to admit. Did Fergie develop Ronaldo? Yeah. He gave him games at the right time. He took him in and out of games. Him and the rest of the players that dealt with him in training every day hardened him up, got the diving out of his game, made him become more ruthless. But the drive to be the best player in the world was inherent in Ronaldo. You couldn't have turned Alan Smith into Ronaldo. Otherwise, we would turn every Alan Smith into Ronaldo. It's got to be in the player. Favorite MUFC player of the decade? The last decade might be RVP, you know. What colour scheme is the paddock away kit likely to be next season? We are talking to a couple of kit suppliers. If I get my way, it'll be green and gold, but I'm not sure. The options and, well, TBC. Let's just say that. Is Hugo any good or what? He knows where the net is. So does Charlie McNeil. It's a big thing to jump from where you are now to the first team, though. Big thing. According to me, who's the greatest footballer ever? Ooh, greatest or best? Is it greatest? I think you've got to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. Doing it for so long in so many different countries, club level, international level. I think it might be Cristiano Ronaldo. The best, I think, but for injuries, it would comfortably have been R9. It might also be Messi. Would you rather have United win the league or Liverpool be relegated? Is that a serious fucking question? Oh, I guess it's, I'd rather United win the league. When am I getting Rennie back on? Try and get him on a watch along to see how he looks at the match. I'd love to watch a match with Rennie. Do I think the vaccination has to be mandatory before fans return? I could see it. Yeah, I definitely could see that. Why are we so inconsistent and half the team lack effort? Do you think we're inconsistent? I don't think we're inconsistent. Jesus, we lost once between November and this week. That's pretty consistent. 3 things I aspire to own. Nothing. I have a house, I have a car. I'd like better ones, but I don't aspire to own stuff. I aspire to achieve things. I don't necessarily aspire to own anything. Is Paul Merson different gravy? I think his fucking brain's made of gravy. Favourite alcoholic beverage? I like Heineken and I like rum. A lot of questions about Diallo. Will I ever create a new type of formation? Probably not, no, but I do want to try out Matt Busby's WM formation. And I'll do that in a friendly at some point. Dream signing right now, Saul. MMA nutritionalist says, how's the diet? It's pretty good, actually. I know a lot of you are laughing, but it's pretty good. I have a salad every lunch. Here's the remnants of today's. Probably could be a little bit better for the evening meals. And I've got to drop these. Apart from that, it's pretty good. I know you don't believe me, but, we'll see. Need the gyms back open. Right, that is it from me. Cheers for tuning in, everybody. Make sure to go check out NordVPN. They've sponsored today's video, so give them a bit of a check out and definitely use it. It's definitely something useful if you're going to be traveling, which I guess isn't happening so much, but if you, there's a million different reasons why you would want to use a VPN, especially in the days of needing better security. So cheers for tuning in, everyone. Make sure to subscribe, like the video. I'll see you in the next one. Laters.